A wealthy woman humiliated a waitress in front of a packed restaurant, calling her just a server who would never amount to anything. 3 hours later, that waitress received a phone call that made the wealthy woman wish she could take back every cruel word. This is the story of Sarah Chen, a 28-year-old woman serving tables at Mario's Italian restaurant in downtown Chicago. To most customers, she was invisible, just another waitress bringing food and refilling drinks. They didn't know her story. They didn't know what she'd sacrificed. They didn't know that beneath that apron and tired smile was someone fighting battles they couldn't imagine. But on one busy Saturday evening, a cruel customer decided to remind Sarah of her place in the world. What that customer didn't know was that sometimes the universe has a way of revealing the truth at exactly the right moment. This is a story about judgment, humility, and the unexpected ways life teaches us that we should never, ever underestimate anyone. Sarah Chen had a PhD in molecular biology from Northwestern University. Yes, you heard that right. This just a server had spent 8 years in advanced education, published research papers, and was once on track to work at prestigious research institutions. But life had other plans. 2 years ago, Sarah's younger brother Danny was diagnosed with leukemia. He was only 16 years old, a bright kid with dreams of becoming an architect. Their parents had passed away years earlier in a car accident, leaving Sarah as Danny's legal guardian. The treatment was brutal and expensive. Even with insurance, the medical bills piled up faster than Sarah could manage. Her research position paid decently, but the hours were inflexible. Danny needed someone who could take him to treatments, stay with him during hospital visits, be there when the chemo made him too sick to move. Sarah made an impossible choice. She left her research career and took a job waiting tables. The hours were flexible. She could work doubles when Danny felt good and call out when he needed her. The tips weren't predictable, but they kept the lights on and food in the fridge. Every morning she'd help Danny get ready for school, on days he felt strong enough to go. Every evening after her shift, she'd come home exhausted, but she'd sit with him, helping with homework, watching movies, pretending everything was normal even as her own dreams crumbled around her. Her former colleagues didn't understand. "You're wasting your education," they'd say. "You worked so hard for that PhD." But Sarah knew something they didn't. Some things matter more than career achievements. Some people matter more than professional success. Danny was everything, and she'd serve tables for the rest of her life if it meant keeping him alive. It was 7 p.m. on a Saturday, and Mario's was packed. Sarah had been on her feet for 6 hours straight, running between tables, managing difficult customers with a smile, all while her phone buzzed with updates from the neighbor watching Danny. "Feeling okay today? Ate some soup?" Watching TV, each message was a small relief. The good days were precious. Sarah was assigned to table 12, a party of 4. 2 couples dressed expensively, clearly celebrating something. The woman sitting closest to the aisle wore a designer dress that probably cost more than Sarah's monthly rent. Her jewelry sparkled under the restaurant lights. Her husband looked equally polished. Expensive watch, tailored suit, the air of someone used to being catered to. "Good evening," Sarah said warmly, despite her aching feet. "Welcome to Mario's. Can I start you off with some drinks?" The woman, Mrs. Victoria Ashford, though Sarah didn't know her name yet, looked Sarah up and down with barely concealed disdain. "Water. With lemon. And make sure the glass is actually clean this time." "Last place we went, the glasses had spots." Sarah smiled professionally. "Of course. I'll make sure everything is perfect." As Sarah walked away, she heard Mrs. Ashford's voice carry across the restaurant. "I don't understand why restaurants can't hire better quality staff these days. It's so hard to find good service." Sarah had heard worse. She'd developed thick skin over 2 years of serving. She brought the drinks, took their orders, and did her job with the same care she gave every table. But Mrs. Ashford wasn't finished. When Sarah brought the appetizers, Mrs. Ashford inspected her plate like it might be contaminated. "Is this fresh mozzarella?" "It doesn't look fresh." "Yes, ma'am. It was made this morning by our chef." Mrs. Ashford took a reluctant bite. "I suppose it's acceptable, though at these prices it should be exceptional." Throughout the meal, Mrs. Ashford found fault with everything. The pasta was too al dente. The bread wasn't warm enough. The wine was poured incorrectly. each complaint delivered with a condescending tone that made the other diners uncomfortable. Sarah handled it all professionally, apologized, fixed what could be fixed, smiled through the disrespect. Then came the moment that would change everything. As Sarah was clearing their entree plates, Mrs. Ashford's phone rang. She answered immediately, her voice shifting to a syrupy sweetness. "Oh, Margaret, yes, we're at Mario's." "Oh, it's fine, though the service is barely adequate." "What? The charity gala committee?" "Of course, I'm still interested in chairing it." Sarah tried to work quickly, not wanting to interrupt the call, but Mrs. Ashford held up an imperious hand. "Wait, don't you dare reach over me like that. Didn't anyone teach you proper table etiquette?" Sarah froze, plate in hand. "I apologize, ma'am. I was trying not to interrupt your call." Mrs. Ashford covered her phone. "You're already interrupting, just stand there. Wait until I'm finished." Sarah stood there, holding dirty plates, while Mrs. Ashford continued her conversation. 2 minutes passed, 3. The plates grew heavier. Other tables needed attention. But Mrs. Ashford seemed to enjoy making Sarah wait. Finally, she ended the call and waved her hand dismissively. "You may go now." As Sarah turned to leave, Mrs. Ashford called out loudly, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "You know, I feel sorry for people like you. Working these dead-end jobs, no real prospects. It must be depressing knowing you'll probably be doing this for the rest of your life." Just a server. Nothing more. The restaurant got quieter. People turned to look. Sarah felt her face burn. Her hands trembled slightly, but she kept her voice steady. "I'm just here to do my job, ma'am. Can I get you anything else? What else could someone like you possibly offer?" Mrs. Ashford laughed. "I doubt you have any real skills beyond carrying plates. Tell me, did you even finish high school? Or was this the best you could do?" Sarah's throat tightened. Every fiber of her being wanted to tell this cruel woman the truth, to explain that she had a PhD, that she'd sacrificed her career for something that actually mattered, that she had more education than Mrs. Ashford probably had. But Sarah's pride wouldn't let her use Danny's illness as a shield against cruelty. Her brother's struggle wasn't a weapon for defending herself, so she simply said, "I'll bring your dessert menu," and walked away with whatever dignity she had left. In the kitchen, she let herself have 30 seconds. 30 seconds to blink back angry tears. 30 seconds to remind herself why she was doing this. 30 seconds to look at the photo on her phone. Danny giving a thumbs up from his hospital bed, bald from chemo but smiling. Then she fixed her face and went back to work. Sarah delivered the desserts to table 12 without making eye contact. Mrs. Ashford had moved on to criticizing the restaurant's decor. Sarah simply wanted the table to finish and leave. At 9:47 p.m., Mrs. Ashford's party finally paid and left. The tip was exactly 10%, the bare minimum, and clearly intended as another insult. Sarah was clearing their table when her phone rang. Danny's neighbor, her heart stopped. "Calls this late were never good news, Sarah. Don't panic. Danny's okay, but his fever spiked. I think you should take him to the ER to be safe." Sarah's hands shook as she told her manager she had an emergency. She ripped off her apron, grabbed her purse and ran to her car. The ER was crowded. Danny's fever was concerning but not critical. They waited for 3 hours while Sarah held her brother's hand, watching him doze uncomfortably in the harsh fluorescent lights. At 1:30 a.m., her phone rang again. Unknown number. Normally she'd ignore it, but she was exhausted and not thinking clearly. "Hello? Is this Sarah Chen?" A professional male voice. "Yes, who's calling?" "My name is Robert Morrison. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Biomed Research Institute in Chicago. I apologize for the late hour, but I'm calling about a time-sensitive matter. We received your research application from 2 years ago." Sarah's heart sank. "I appreciate the call, but that application is outdated. My circumstances have changed significantly since then. I understand. But Dr. Patricia Williams recently reviewed your published work on cellular regeneration. She was extremely impressed. She's putting together a new research team for a groundbreaking leukemia study, and she specifically requested you." Sarah's breath caught. "Leukemia study. Mr. Morrison, I appreciate this, but I need to be honest. I'm currently working as a server. I have family obligations that require flexible hours. I can't commit to typical research schedules. We know about your situation, Ms. Chen. Dr. Williams did some research. She knows about your brother. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Then you understand why I can't. The position comes with flexible scheduling, comprehensive health insurance that would cover your brother's treatments, and a substantial salary. Dr. Williams herself lost a sibling to cancer. She specifically designed this program to allow researchers with caregiving responsibilities to continue their work. You'd be helping develop treatments that could save patients like your brother. She believes your personal connection to the disease would make you invaluable to the team. Sarah couldn't speak. She looked at Danny sleeping in the hospital chair, his pale face peaceful despite everything he'd endured. Ms. Chen, are you still there? I'm here, she whispered. I don't know what to say. Say you'll come in for an interview, Monday morning if possible. We are prepared to make this happen quickly. After the call ended, Sarah sat in stunned silence. In one night, everything had changed. The woman who had mocked her for being just a server had no idea that the person she'd humiliated was about to step into a role that could change the future of cancer treatment. The unexpected encounter. Terrace 11:30, Monday morning. Sarah put on her only professional suit, slightly worn but clean. She left Danny with his favorite nurse at the clinic and drove to Biomed Research Institute. The interview was incredible. Dr. Patricia Williams was warm, understanding, and brilliant. They discussed Sarah's research, her ideas for the leukemia study, her unique perspective as both a scientist and a caregiver. You're exactly what this team needs, Dr. Williams said. Someone who understands the science and the human cost. When can you start? I need 2 weeks to give notice at my current job, Sarah said, professional even in her joy. Absolutely. We'll have your contract ready by Wednesday. As Sarah left the building, she felt lighter than she had in years. She could do meaningful work again. Danny's treatments would be covered. They'd have financial stability. She could be both a researcher and a sister. She decided to stop at Mario's to give her notice in person. Her manager, Tony, was a good man who deserved the courtesy. But when she walked into the restaurant at 11 a.m., she stopped cold. Sitting at table 12, the same table, was Mrs. Victoria Ashford. She was with a younger woman who looked upset. Sarah could hear parts of their conversation as she approached Tony at the host stand. I don't understand why the board rejected my application, Mother. You said you had influence. I did, darling. But apparently someone on the selection committee had concerns about our family's charitable reputation. Sarah tried to slip past unnoticed, but Mrs. Ashford's sharp eyes caught her. Oh, it's you. Still serving tables, I see. Told you this was your ceiling. The younger woman looked embarrassed. Mother, please. Tony noticed the interaction and moved to intercede, but Sarah held up her hand. For the first time in 2 years, she felt no need to be small. No need to accept disrespect in silence. Actually, Sarah said calmly, I'm here to give my 2 weeks' notice. I just accepted a position as lead researcher at Biomed Research Institute. Shall be heading a team developing new leukemia treatments. Mrs. Ashford's face went blank. What? I have a PhD in molecular biology from Northwestern. I've been serving tables for 2 years while caring for my brother who has cancer. Your comment about my dead-end job was incorrect. This was never my ceiling. It was my choice. A choice made out of love and sacrifice, concepts you might not understand. The restaurant had gone quiet again. But this time the silence felt different. Mrs. Ashford's daughter stared at Sarah with something like awe. You gave up your career to take care of your brother. Temporarily, yes. And I'd do it again. Some things matter more than professional achievement. Family, compassion, treating people with basic respect regardless of their job title. Sarah turned to Tony. Can we talk in your office? As she walked away, she heard Mrs. Ashford's daughter say quietly, That's the kind of person who should chair charity committees, Mother. Not people who look down on service workers. Tony gave Sarah a huge hug when she explained everything. I'm so proud of you, but damn, I'm going to miss you. You gave me flexible hours when I desperately needed them. I'll never forget that kindness. The beautiful resolution 11/30/13. Sarah started at Biomed 2 weeks later. The work was challenging and fulfilling. Danny's treatments were fully covered, and her new schedule allowed her to take him to appointments without stress. 3 months into her new position, Sarah received an unexpected email. It was from Mrs. Ashford's daughter. Catherine, Dear Dr. Chen, I hope this email finds you well. I've thought about our encounter at Mario's many times. I wanted to apologize for my mother's behavior and explain what happened after. That day, I had just been rejected from a charity board position, something I'd wanted to prove I was more than just my mother's daughter. Hearing her speak to you the way she did, and then learning your story was a turning point for me. I quit trying to follow in my mother's footsteps and instead applied to nursing school. I'm now in my second semester. Your example of sacrificing prestige for purpose inspired me to find meaning beyond social status. My mother and I don't speak much anymore. She can't understand why I'd waste my time in a helping profession. But I think you'd understand completely. Thank you for your dignity that day. It changed my life. Respectfully, Catherine Ashford. Sarah read the email twice, tears streaming down her face. She'd gone into that restaurant thinking she was just giving notice. She had no idea she'd been planting seeds. She wrote back, "Dear Catherine, your email made my day. Never apologize for your mother's actions. You're not responsible for them. But thank you for choosing your own path. Nursing is noble work. The world needs more people like you. People who choose compassion over status. Your patients will be lucky to have you. You're welcome at Biomed any time if you want to see the research side of healthcare. We're always looking for people who understand that science and compassion go hand in hand. Keep making the world better. Dr. Sarah Chen." 6 months into Sarah's new position, Danny's latest scans came back with extraordinary news. The experimental treatment protocol Sarah's team had helped develop was working. Danny was in remission. When the doctor delivered the news, Sarah collapsed into a chair, overwhelmed by relief. Danny was going to live. Her little brother was going to grow up, become an architect, have a future. All those double shifts, all those moments of humiliation, all those sacrifices worth it. Every single second. Dr. Williams found Sarah crying in her office later that day. "Danny's results?" Sarah nodded, unable to speak. Dr. Williams sat beside her. "You know what makes you invaluable to this team? It's not just your brilliant mind. It's that you understand what these treatments mean. Every patient we save has a sister like you. A parent, a child, someone who loves them desperately. You never forget that." "I could never forget," Sarah whispered. "I know. That's why you're going to change the world, Sarah. One treatment at a time, one family at a time." A year later, Sarah's research team published breakthrough findings that improved leukemia survival rates by 34%. The paper made international news. Journalists wanted interviews. Awards followed. During one interview, a reporter asked, "Dr. Chen, you spent 2 years as a waitress during your brother's treatment. Do you regret leaving research during that time?" Sarah thought about Mrs. Ashford, about Tony's kindness, about the other servers who'd covered her shifts when Danny needed her, about learning humility and resilience in ways no laboratory could teach. "No regrets," she said firmly. "Those 2 years taught me that every job has dignity, that kindness matters more than status, that we should never judge people without knowing their story. I'm a better researcher because of those experiences. And more importantly, I'm a better person. This story teaches us something crucial about life. Every person you meet is fighting battles you know nothing about. The waitress serving your coffee might have a PhD. The janitor cleaning your office might be a veteran. The cashier at the grocery store might be working 3 jobs to support their family. Their job title doesn't define their worth. Their current circumstances don't tell their whole story." Mrs. Ashford saw a server and assumed she knew everything about Sarah's value. She was wrong. Painfully, publicly wrong. But here's what makes this story truly powerful. Sarah didn't need vindication to know her worth. She didn't need to prove herself to cruel strangers. She knew who she was and what she was fighting for. The recognition came, yes, but it wasn't what made her valuable. Her love for her brother, her sacrifice, her resilience, those were her true measures of success. And perhaps most beautifully, her example changed Catherine's life. Sometimes our hardest moments become someone else's inspiration. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs a reminder to treat everyone with respect, regardless of their job title. Subscribe to our channel for more stories that prove everyone has a story worth knowing, a battle worth respecting, and a dignity that should never be questioned. In the comments below, tell us, have you ever been judged unfairly for your job? Or have you made assumptions about someone that turned out to be wrong? Let's create a space where we learn and grow together. Remember, the person serving your food, cleaning your office, or helping you in a store is someone's whole world. They're someone's sister, father, daughter, friend. They deserve your kindness. Treat everyone with dignity. You never know who you're really talking to. Until next time, be kind always.